Next Wave News Alert.
Shannon, let's start with that suspect arrested connected to the Greenwood boat ramp double shooting earlier this week that left one person dead and one hospitalized. 21-year-old James Reese has been arrested and charged with the murder of Jason Manoukian on Tuesday. Reese was arrested after a foot pursuit with police. He later admitted to officers that he and a co-defendant got into an argument with another group at the boat ramp that night. He claimed Manoukian was using slurs, so he shot into the car, killing Manoukian and injuring another person. Reese is now facing several charges, including murder and assault. He's already a convicted felon. Then around 11 o'clock last night, officers were called to a shooting at 13th Street and Patton Court. They say a man was shot and taken to the hospital where he's expected to recover. Police don't have any suspects in this case. Then about 30 minutes later, police say a man approached an officer on 1st Street saying he was shot multiple times. They later learned that shooting happened near 27th and Muhammad Ali Boulevard in the Russell neighborhood. The man was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive his injuries. There are no suspects in this case either. So as always, if you know anything about these shootings, you can call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. Shannon.
Thank you, Olivia. We're over here in the Weather Center hanging out with Tawana. So the strawberry moon has now gone down, but now we have a beautiful sunrise.
Yes, the sunrise this morning is gorgeous, but something that everyone will notice today, that haze to the sky. Yet again, the air quality is still a massive issue. And right now, this morning, usually we have good air quality in the morning. Not today. Right now, most of our sensors showing at that moderate level, so we should be dealing with that for the morning hours. Now, once we head into the afternoon, we could see the air quality getting even worse across parts of the metro, so that's something to keep in mind. But overall, we have that air quality alert in place for most of our area, and that goes until tonight. So just for those of you heading out and about, if you have any sort of breathing issue this afternoon and into the early evening is when we tend to have the worst of the air quality across the area. But at least the sunrise that we're seeing right now, beginning on our SkyTrack camera, looks pretty good. You can see some of that haze there along the horizon. Plenty of sunshine is expected for today. Yes, we do have some clouds drifting in this morning, and we're going to keep some clouds overhead at times for this afternoon, but still that sun is going to work very hard. It's going to take us from the 60s and low 70s, where we're sitting at this moment, all the way into the mid to upper 90s for your highs for this afternoon. So a quick, easy warm-up with all of the sunshine around, but don't forget the humidity coming into play, because while we're going to be in the 90s for your highs, it's going to feel like closer to 100 degrees. So make sure you're staying cool, you're hydrating as best as possible. Also, don't forget your pets. If they're outside, make sure they are okay as well in this kind of heat. Olivia.
You know, it's so funny that you say that. My cats actually love to be outside, because the one I rescued from Louisiana, she loves the heat. We'll just let her sit on the balcony all day as long as she is hydrated. Hey, your traffic this morning looking fantastic. We could see some construction happening on 64 at the Sherman-Minton Bridge, so they have that left lane closed, but it doesn't look like it's causing any slowdowns this morning. Just one stalled vehicle. This is on the Watterson eastbound, the ramp to Bardstown Road. Looks like we have a semi-truck stopped, and they do have a crew out there helping to get it cleared off, so they have that right lane blocked off with the cones right there, so be aware of them if you are headed in that direction. Shannon.
Thanks, Olivia. LMPD facing another lawsuit involving sexual harassment within the department. This is the second time this week an officer is claiming her superiors harassed her, and the third harassment claim made within a week. Sergeant Lauren Carby filed the lawsuit against Shannon Lauder and her husband. Carby says when then Lieutenant Commander Shannon Lauder was her supervisor on the Special Victims Unit, she attended a pool party hosted by Lauder and her husband Jeff Lauder in 2020. Jeff Lauder is an LMPD lieutenant. At the party, Carby claims Jeff Lauder asked her if she wanted to have sex and tried to kiss her. Then later in the night, Carby says Shannon Lauder gave Carby her blessing to have a relationship with her husband because she was in an ongoing relationship with a sex crimes detective. Carby rejected the advances, and she says the next morning Shannon Lauder asked her to not share what happened. Carby says she was later unfairly passed up for a job in October of 2022 because of her harassment claims. Carby's lawyer says they've been working on this lawsuit now for months, and she says Carby's entire professional career and private life have been sidetracked by what happened at that pool party.
How much are you respecting the badge if you believe someone who commits sexual misconduct, sexual deviance, sexual harassment, discrimination, if you believe that person should wear that badge, if you don't highly scrutinize your own actions as well as the actions of those around you in an effort to build each other up to protect the department, you aren't respecting your badge.
The lawsuit also claims this activity and other cases like it had a direct impact on policing. The lawsuit says former LMPD Chief Erica Shields called certain police units notably unproductive because of rampant sexual affairs. The suit says Shields would devote manpower to running black lights throughout the division to determine whether supervisors were having sex in their offices.
I think there are officers who have grown complacent. I think there are officers who have grown bitter and discouraged and have lost hope. I think there are officers who are so used to it they don't really see the problem.
The lawsuit says Carby is seeking trial by jury and compensatory damages. Shannon Lauder is the same LMPD major who is at the center of a separate sexual harassment investigation where she claims to be a victim. Mayor Greenberg revealed this latest lawsuit has a connection to that case. Now, we played you the audio of a meeting where Lauder tells Chief Jacqueline Gwen Beal-Orell she cannot work with Major Brian Kerger. Lauder says Kerger has harassed and attacked her. Mayor Greenberg says Kerger was leading an internal investigation into Carby's claims against both Lauders. Lauder's sexual harassment claims against Kerger are being investigated by an attorney from the Jefferson County Attorney's Office. No lawsuit has been filed in this case. But this is the second sexual harassment lawsuit filed against LMPD this week. Christine Silk is suing the department. She says two of the officers training her made inappropriate advances and comments about her. Silk says her field training officer texted her explicit photos of himself she didn't ask for, and her academy trainer asked her if her son was the result of a one-night stand. Chief Jacqueline Gwen Beal-Orell is on administrative leave until an investigation into her response to the sexual harassment claims is finished. All these claims has Mayor Greenberg rethinking how LMPD responds to sexual harassment. The mayor says acting LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey has already required LMPD leadership to take new sexual harassment training. Mayor Greenberg also says the way LMPD deals with sexual harassment claims and investigations is going to change moving forward.
We are finalizing significant changes to LMPD's procedures for sexual harassment allegations, investigations, discipline, training, and victim support. Clearly, the reforms that we have been working on were not enough in this area.
The mayor went on to say all changes are on the table when it comes to getting this fixed within LMPD, and the new procedures will be revealed soon. LMPD's handling of sexual harassment investigations is something the U.S. Department of Justice pointed to in the report it released last year. The report says LMPD does not adequately investigate officers accused of sexual misconduct. The DOJ says it found multiple instances where LMPD did not open administrative investigations into reports of sexual misconduct by officers. The DOJ is still working with the city and the department on the consent decree that will require some changes within LMPD. There's so much going on with all of these cases involving LMPD, and we're bringing you every detail and new developments as they happen. You can get the latest on wave3.com and the Wave News app. Some JCPS families are now suing the district over its plan to end busing to some magnet and traditional schools, saying the plan disproportionately affects black students. The suit claims 14,000 black students in JCPS are losing busing. Parents say the decision affects educational and economical outcomes as they struggle to choose between alternative transportation or a different school.
It's put a lot of mental, financial strain. I have to come up with the bills. I have to come up with, how am I going to take the kids to school? Everything is me.
Attorney Teddy Gordon is seeking an injunction that would restore transportation to all magnet and traditional schools, saying JCPS's plan is only going to get worse before it gets better. We asked JCPS for a response. They said they're still reviewing the lawsuit and were not able to comment. We should learn more about the JCPS bus plan at their next board meeting Tuesday. One of the JCPS's solutions to their transportation problems is hiring TARC drivers to fill in gaps this next semester. The agreement came after TARC announced it needed to cut some routes to stay on budget. That would have left the company with 70 more drivers than it needed. But the local union president says the plan does not solve TARC's financial needs. Right now, that plan says TARC drivers would not begin routes until at least the third week of school. Metro Council members approved a more than $1 billion budget for the city of Louisville. The budget sets aside $375,000 towards costs associated with the Department of Justice consent decree. It also gives LMPD more money to recruit and retain officers, $4 million to buy a new police helicopter. The budget also puts funding towards more license plate readers. Infrastructure getting a big boost too in the budget. The Metro Council is increasing the recommended street paving allocation by $8 million. This means more money for structure repair, traffic control, signage, and enhancing street and road safety. In a statement, Mayor Greenberg says the budget makes key investments across the city. He also pointed to the $5 million given to the nonprofit called Thrive by 5. The goal of Thrive by 5 is to create free, universal pre-K for every 3- and 4-year-old in the city. The budget also puts aside $25 million for affordable housing initiatives, including expanding low-income permanent housing. It comes as a former Louisville Metro Housing Authority worker is now suing the agency after he says the authority mismanaged millions of dollars. Matthew Swain says this April, deputy directors told him $17 million was unaccounted for in the Housing Authority's Section 8 housing funds. Swain contacted a U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development representative to report the missing money. He claims he was suspended without pay, then fired days after talking to the HUD representative. Swain is suing now for lost pay, benefits, and punitive damages. It's 6:11. How are we looking over the next 12 hours?
Hot, very hot for this afternoon. That's the best way to explain it as we climb into the 90s for your highs yet again. I'll let you know when we're going to see some cooler air coming back our way after the break.
Thank you, Tawana. Derby fanatics, it is the best time of the year to get your hands on some merchandise and some good deals too, and some special things you won't find anywhere else. It's the Derby yard sale going on today. Josh Ninke is there live this morning. We'll be checking in with him.
Now, Wave News.
Morning at 6:14 right now. Hey, did you miss out on getting some Derby 150 merch? Because you have a chance today to buy some shirts, pins, other vintage gear. And you could score a deal, too. Josh Ninke is live at the KDF headquarters in Old Louisville with more on their annual yard sale going on today and starts in just about less than 2 hours, Josh.
Yeah, Shannon, the line might be getting started right now. I wouldn't blame you if you got here this early to see some of this stuff. We've got Jennifer, the merchandise manager, joining us here right now to highlight something for the collectors, because you have some very, very cool stuff here.
We do, and the collectors, we have a lot of people who really are passionate about collecting, especially our Pegasus pin collection. So we are really excited that we had found a couple of these beautiful lucite display pieces of the first 25 years of the Pegasus pin.
That's cool.
So that is starting with the 1973 pin, which is a very coveted for all the collectors piece. It also highlights that 75 pin, which is a really hard one to find for most. And it's got all the, like I said, first 25 years of the pin. Great piece and a really nice addition to any collection.
And there's also some very cool gold pins. I didn't realize that you guys did these.
We do. We do a collection of gold-filled pins. So yes, the plastic gold pin that you get in your Pegasus pin package, but these are actual gold-filled lapel pins. We've got some great pieces. Different years, all different years. This is showcasing our 50th, which was in 2005. but we've got all kinds from many years back, dating to 1989, and we're doing an incredible deal on them. Any of the past gold-filled pins we're doing for $25 today, or you can get 2 of them for $40. So it's a great time to add to your collection and kind of, you know, fill in the holes if you are a collector of the gold-filled pin. And of course, get the 2024 also, which is a little bit more expensive, but that's the really pretty one featuring that 150th.
That's very cool. And one of the things that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet this morning, where does all the money go that you guys raise here?
Everything that we raise goes back to the festival. We are a not-for-profit, so all the money goes back to helping us produce the events that the community enjoys every spring.
Yeah,
so.
And it takes a lot to pull off all these events.
It does.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of difference. And a lot of the events that we try to provide for the community for free or for the price of a Pegasus pin admission. So.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
So things kick off here at 8 o'clock. Well, like I said, you're going to want to get in line a little bit early because some of this stuff is going to go really fast. We'll show you even more coming up here in the next half hour. Live at the KDF headquarters, Josh Nickey, Wave News.
Sounds like fun, Josh. Okay, if anyone's having a garage sale this weekend, it's going to be hot, but gosh, that sunrise is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm just gonna slide out of the way so everyone can just enjoy the sunrise this morning. And it's beautiful, but the thing that you can't tell from this image is how hot and humid it's gonna be for today. So just prepare yourself. Just be fully prepped for that, because we are looking at temperatures hotter than what we dealt with yesterday in today's forecast. We are dealing with some of those clouds moving in, just like what we saw on that SkyTrack camera. High pressure doing its thing, keeping things hot and humid and warm and dry across the area. But here's the thing, it's also keeping our air pretty stagnant with the sunshine, the hot temperatures. That actually helps to break down some pollutants at the lower levels of the atmosphere, and that is why we have that elevated level of ground ozone in today's forecast, and thus the air quality alert in place across our region for today. So just keep that in mind if you have any sort of breathing issue, whether it's asthma, COPD, or anything in between. Your temperatures right now in those 60s and low 70s, now down to 75 degrees at the airport in Louisville, easily warming into the 90s. We're talking mid to upper 90s for your highs for this afternoon, with a mix of sun and clouds overhead. Remember, our forecast high for today, 98. The record for today, 98. So we'll see if we tie things later on this afternoon. For tonight, still keeping some clouds overhead as temperatures fall down into the 70s across our region. And as we look ahead to the next 10 days, we are going to be talking about more of that heat around. For tomorrow, highs back into the 90s, but as we look ahead to next week, there is some cooler air coming our way. But first, let's talk about tomorrow, because for your Saturday, we'll see those highs back into the mid to upper 90s across the area. That heat index near 100 degrees for tomorrow afternoon, so we're not done with that summer heat just yet. And that's something important to keep in mind for those of you who may be heading to the Lou City matchup against Rhode Island for tomorrow night. You're going to initially, as you're getting there around 6, 7 o'clock, whether you're tailgating or not, going to be dealing with those low 90s. Now, as the match wears on, going to gradually cool into the 80s, but still going to be one of those very warm and muggy nights, that is for sure. Now, once we head into Sunday, this is when we'll get a cold front moving in, and as it does so, we'll add some clouds into our region, but temperatures still going to climb into the upper 80s and low 90s for your highs for Sunday afternoon, as we watch for some scattered showers, a couple of thunderstorms here and there. Keep in mind, this is going to be very scattered, so not everyone will even see that rainfall, and as of right now, it doesn't look like the rain is going to be quite heavy. Another system moving in on Wednesday will bring some more of those showers and thunderstorms into our forecast Tuesday night into Wednesday, with everything moving out by Thursday morning, allowing high pressure to take back over. Now, behind that system, that is when we could see some mid to upper 80s for highs towards next Thursday and Friday, and then we'll climb back into the 90s by the following weekend. So a little bit of a break from that heat showing up towards the end of next week, but that break doesn't look to last very long.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
Sorry about that. Okay, the fierce competition for a spot on Team USA continues this morning, moving to the Pacific Northwest with close to 1,000 hopefuls gathering in Eugene, Oregon for the start of the U.S. track and field trials. The fast track to making Team USA for around 900 runners, jumpers, and throwers begins a bit later today at Hayward Field on the University of Oregon campus. Current world champs Sha'Carri Richardson and Noah Lyles looking to end a gold medal drought for Team USA in track's premier event, the 100 meters. It's been 20 years since an American has gotten gold in the 100, even longer for the women. Then another day of the Olympic trials continued in Indianapolis with some Indiana athletes making the cut. A couple of IU swimmers involved in the mix. Lily King getting second in the women's 200-meter breaststroke. She becomes the first U.S. swimmer to swim in the 100-meter and 200-meter breaststroke in 3 straight Olympics. Owen McDonald finishing 4th in his race in the men 200-meter individual medley. And then this happened for Lily King. Look at this. Not the only highlight of the night. After the race, her longtime boyfriend, James Wells, greeted her on the pool deck with a marriage proposal and a ring. And of course, she said yes. The U.S. Olympic swim trials will continue Friday through the weekend. How sweet. He also swam for IU. We don't know when the marriage is going to take place, but I was reading and she said she kind of knew something was up because she was told to take her swim cap off for the moment.
That makes sense.
There it is. There is the proposal.
Oh, we love that. That's cute.
Isn't that awesome?
That's cute, but yeah, don't ask them yet when the wedding's going to be. Let them enjoy this for a second first.
I know. How sweet.
I'm very happy for them. That's adorable. I love it.
What a day for her, right?
I know, right? That's a very good day. That's a day she's going to remember for a long time. For those of you heading out right now, keep in mind we're in those 60s and 70s. We'll end up in the 90s for your highs for this afternoon. Once we head into Saturday, some more of those 90s showing at mid to upper 90s, by the way. On Sunday, some scattered showers around, but a lot of us may even miss out on that rain, so that's something to keep in mind. Monday and Tuesday look quiet before yet another system brings some more of that rain, along with the potential for some cooler air. In fact, towards Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week, we may see highs only in the 80s, and that will be a little bit of a break from this summer heat.
Thanks, Tawana. If you are in Louisville, you can stay cool in the extreme heat at a number of cooling centers. They're at the 8 Neighborhood Place locations throughout Louisville. They'll be serving as cooling relief centers during their normal business hours, so that is during the week from 8 until 4. To find the nearest location, you can call Metro 311. Metro Parks and Recreation's 14 community centers will also be open, so try to stay cool. It's 6:27, and a hearing last night over a dam in New Albany and its safety issues after a 14-year-old died there. Here's some emotional testimony, including what that teen's grandmother said, coming up on Sunrise.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning. We've been discussing marriage proposals after Lily King's boyfriend proposed to her after she made it to the Olympics. So
let's just say Olivia has some hot takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's a good thing we're not dating.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about what's important today. You're like, just get to the weather. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And we're going to have some hot takes with that as well, just because it's going to be very hot outside. This is the view from our SkyTrack camera. The sun is now officially over the horizon. A beautiful start to the day, that is for sure. And we're going to see plenty of that sunshine for today. So keep that in mind as you're getting ready for your Friday. Temperatures right now in those 60s and low 70s. So already starting off warm and quite muggy across the region. As we head throughout the day today, going to watch those temperatures doing their best to warm up, ending up for a lot of us in the mid to upper 90s. 90s. Our record for the state, 98 degrees, and it looks like we're going to get very close. And something to keep in mind with that kind of heat, check the back seat. Do not leave your kids or pets in a car in this type of weather. It takes 10 minutes in 95-degree weather. It takes 10 minutes for a car interior to reach 114 degrees, an hour for it to reach 138 degrees. So please check the back seat. This is the time of year we have a lot of unfortunate accidents, and that is not something that we want at all. For those of you planning ahead for the weekend, by the way, we do have this going on. Lou City taking on Rhode Island FC, and it looks like that is going to be a pretty muggy and warm affair with temperatures going from near 90 degrees as everything kicks off at 8 and falling through the 80s as the night wears on. So it looks like the weekend will be hot and humid before we see some much needed rain coming our way, Olivia.
Oh, Tawana, you talked about how hot it gets in a car. This is another reminder this week to grab some cold water before you head out the door in case you end up like this guy who is stalled on the ramp from the Waterson to 65. You do not want to be stuck in a hot car for too long, that's for sure. But hey, it doesn't look like it's slowing down traffic there, so we'll go ahead and take a look at some of our drive times. This is 65 southbound in Indiana. Everything looking good there. Northbound also looking fantastic. Shannon.
Thanks, Olivia. Heated discussion at the New Albany Common Council last night. The council's deciding how to address safety concerns surrounding the Providence Mill Dam after a 14-year-old drowned while swimming in Silver Creek. The debate follows the death of Andre Edwards Jr. He drowned while swimming in Silver Creek Memorial Day. The council moved forward with an ordinance to appropriate funding to put up signs at Silver Creek Landing, warning the public of the dangers of swimming in the creek. The council also talked about a resolution to encourage Mayor Jeff Gahan's administration to remove the dam entirely. Discussion on that resolution was tabled after disagreements about the language in it. Andre's family and community members gave an emotional plea to the council to push for the dam's removal.
You know, if we can spend dollars for legal fees against this, we got to be able to find dollars here wherever it is to put signs or put barriers to educate everybody. I think that whatever needs to happen sooner instead of later.
Nothing will bring my grandson back. But I will do absolutely everything in my power to make sure this never happens again.
This week, Mayor Gahan said he does not support removing the dam, saying it serves multiple purposes aside from recreation. He instead proposed a plan to create a rock arch dam to remove the dangerous undercurrent. The ordinance will be voted on at the next council meeting July 1st after council members have the chance to figure out the cost and design of the signs. An Ohio County grand jury indicts the parents and grandfather of 8-month-old Maya Rudd, along with another man. The case against the parents, Tesla Tucker, Cage Rudd, and then also Ricky Smith and Brody Payne, is moving to trial. All of them but Tucker were indicted on 13 charges, including engaging in organized crime, abuse of a child, abuse of a corpse, and several drug charges. Kentucky State Police say Maya's remains were discovered under clutter inside Tucker and Rudd's home. The big question is why Maya was still with her parents. Her umbilical cord had tested positive for meth, and her 3 older siblings had already been taken away. Our affiliate in Evansville asked Governor Beshear about the potential investigation being opened up into social services.
Listen, anytime there's a tragedy, you want to find something you can learn from the tragedy. You want to find something in honor of that lost individual, and in this instance, in that lost baby, where we can maybe do a little bit more next time to try to better protect that next child.
Our Evansville affiliate is still waiting for answers from Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services about why baby Maya was even in the care of her parents. The American Bar Association is helping out Kentucky storm survivors. They're offering free legal aid to those affected by severe weather at the beginning of April. The assistance is available to people in Jefferson, Oldham, Whitley, Fayette, and 6 other counties across the state. The organization can help you with FEMA benefits, home repair, and property insurance claims, and redoing legal documents that might have been destroyed, among many other tasks. You can contact them between 8:30 and 4:30 Monday through Friday. According to the USDA, nearly 2.5 million people work on our country's farms and ranches. Now lawmakers in Washington want to make sure workers get paid when natural disasters strike. Congresswoman Andrea Salinas has introduced the Disaster Relief for Farm Workers Act. The bill would allow direct relief to be available for farm workers and ensure the USDA works with them to get the help they need. United Farm Workers spokesman Antonio De Leora says the workforce is predominantly made up of immigrants living paycheck to paycheck, working in conditions ranging from blizzards to scorching heat. And when disaster strikes, there are long-standing federal programs to protect farmers, but not their workers.
More than half are likely undocumented immigrants. And so this is a population that, despite being indispensable to producing the food that all of us enjoy on our tables every day, are largely excluded from kind of mainstream American society, excluded from political rights, from many labor laws.
A companion bill has been introduced by Democrats in the Senate. Kentucky's Attorney General has announced $12 million in statewide opioid grants. That money will mostly go to nonprofits focused on addiction recovery. Earlier this month, the Kentucky Opioid Abatement Advisory Commission voted to approve the grant awards after more than 160 applicants submitted proposals for nearly $85 million. The commission is still working their way through distributing more than $900 million in opioid settlements. Here is Tawana. So this today is going to be one of the hottest ones yet, right?
Yeah, we're talking about a high near 98 degrees for this afternoon. That's mainly for the metro. For a lot of us outside the metro, we're talking low to mid 90s for your high. So that's still pretty hot as we head into this afternoon. Now, as we look ahead, quite a bit of this heat will last for a while. I'll let you know when we can see some cooler air moving in after the break.
Breaking overnight, a request from a former advisor to Donald Trump has been denied by an appeals court. Olivia has more about the request in this Wave News Alert now.
Shannon, the court denied Steve Bannon's request to stay out of prison while his case makes its way through court. The three-judge panel denied Bannon's request in a 2-to-1 ruling. Bannon is seeking to stay out of prison while he appeals his conviction on contempt of Congress charges. The judges ruled that the arguments in Bannon's request do not present a substantial question of law that could reverse his conviction. Bannon has been ordered to report to prison on July 1st. His lawyers have previously said they plan to take the case to the Supreme Court if the appeals court panel ruled against them. Shannon.
Thank you, Olivia. So if you're on the hunt for some special Kentucky Derby gear, today's your day. The Derby Festival yard sale going on today. Josh Ninke is out there live. So Josh, you ran in this year's the Derby Festival Mini, but I didn't. But I could go there and buy a t-shirt and pretend like I did.
You sure could, Shannon, and for a great deal, and do it a lot cheaper and a lot easier than what I did. I've got Jennifer, the merchandising manager, joining us here. So you guys are getting set up right now. Folks can come out here. The gates open at 8. Walk me through some of what we have here and maybe some of the prices and the great deals we're talking about.
Oh, it's great deals.
Yeah.
These are a lot of our event shirts, event participant, event volunteer shirts that we've had from this past 2024 festival. Some really great cotton t-shirts. Cotton t-shirts are 3 for $5. We've also got some of our amazing tech shirts, which are great for this hot weather.
Yeah.
That weather wick, the material that wicks the water away, moisture away. Those are 3 for $10. A little bit more, but they're a lot nicer shirts.
Right.
But we've got the cotton shirts from every event. You've got the one we just looked at was Marathon and the Parade. You've got some really cool Thunder shirts that showcase that event.
Yeah.
We've got all the fun little items, tchotchke type items, yes.
Yeah.
Anything from cups and
cool baseball bats with the KDF
with the race logo on it. A lot of great glassware to add to your collection or for parties. They're fun. We've got bulk of some of our previous year glassware, and we've just got kind of everything because our staff will always kind of bring in and add to it from their own personal collections, so you can scoot on by Kentucky Derby Festival today and grab yourself anything. Who knows what you're going to find, actually.
And a reminder for folks, the money for this also goes to a very good cause.
It's all goes back to Kentucky Derby Festival. Kentucky Derby Festival is a not-for-profit, and we bring, this amazing events to the community every year, and a lot of these events are free of charge to the community. So this is a way for us to help pay for those and fund those. So that's where all the money goes back to.
A whole lot of fun. 8 to 2 o'clock today, but like you keep saying, try to get here as early as you can because some of this stuff goes really fast. You do not want to miss your opportunity for great deals on stuff like this. So, Shannon, this will be for you to show that you did the mini marathon. Live here at KBF. Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Awesome. Those are good deals. 3 for 10 for those, 3 for 5 for the other. Wow, love it. Thanks, Josh. Well, a kitten stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time was saved thanks to the quick thinking of a truck driver in Ohio. This semi-driver was doing a pre-trip inspection of his truck in May, but he ended up finding a fluffy stowaway stuck right there between the wheels. So, faced with mission impossible, he called in help to free the purring passenger. Ohio State Highway Patrol and a truck lift helped remove the massive tires, and they were able to catch that curious kitten. The little hitchhiker now in the safe hands of Ohio animal rescuers. Thank goodness for that check before taking off. That poor little kitten.
So cute, though, and happy that that kitten is A-okay and has a place to stay now. But also, I'm not going to let you get away with the cat puns either.
No, well, I thought you were going to one-up me.
I mean, it seems like a perfect situation. But
I knew it. I knew it was coming. Yes.
I had to throw the fun out there. But in addition to that, for those of you maybe walking your dogs today, remember, do not walk them on that asphalt. Concrete be very, very bad for their paws. We'll talk about the heat and some rain chances coming our way in just 30 seconds. Good morning, meteorologist Tawana Andrew here with a check of your forecast. And for today, what we have going on, an air quality alert in place for our southern Indiana counties and for the Louisville metro area. Also for those of you in Oldham County and Bullitt County yet again, because of those higher levels of ground ozone. Ozone above our heads, good. Towards the ground, not great. So this is why the air quality alert is in place. If you have any sort of breathing ailments, make sure you're taking extra precautions. You can already see that haze off into the distance on our SkyTrack camera as we're looking from Jeffersonville off towards the east. That sun now well over the horizon. A beautiful start to the day, and we'll see plenty of that sunshine across the region for today. Already watching some clouds drifting through our area right now, and we'll see even more drifting in from the west as high pressure is going to remain fully in control of not just our region, but most of the Ohio and even Mississippi valleys for today. As we deal with high pressure overhead, we'll see some more of these clouds drifting through, but still mainly talking about that sun in today's forecast. And that sunshine is going to work very hard because it's going to take us from the upper 60s and low 70s where we are currently sitting into the mid to upper 90s for your highs for this afternoon. Plus, we have to factor in the humidity across the area. So that means our highs near 98 degrees for some of you may feel closer to 102. So the heat index certainly going to be a factor again for today. Make sure if you're going to be working outside, especially, you take plenty of breaks. You stay as hydrated as possible. Don't forget that shade, and don't forget your pets either in this kind of heat. For tonight, some clouds overhead still. Temperatures falling down into the 70s. Looking ahead to the next 10 days, we do have some more of that heat around for tomorrow, jumping back into the mid to upper 90s for your highs on Saturday. On Sunday, that is when we'll start to add in some rain chances. Looking at a front dipping into our region. It's going to increase some clouds across the area for Sunday morning, but still a decent amount of sunshine expected on Sunday to round out the weekend. Now, the front, the timing right now has it bringing in some scattered showers and thunderstorms for Sunday afternoon into the evening hours with highs in the upper 80s and low 90s. But keep in mind, not everyone will even see the rainfall on Sunday, so just keep a close eye on the Wave Weather app. If you have any outdoor plans on Sunday, don't cancel them. Just make sure you're staying weather aware. Monday and Tuesday look hot and dry, highs back into the 90s. But here comes yet another front moving on in on Wednesday, and as it pushes into our region, this is going to bring some more of those showers and thunderstorms into our region. And with the cold front pushing through, not only will it bring the rain chances, which will keep us mainly in the 80s for highs highs next Wednesday. But behind that front, we're looking even cooler. Low to mid 80s for highs on Thursday, warming back up into the upper 80s come Friday. And by the following weekend, yes, those 90s returning to wave country. So it does look like we're going to get that break from the very hot weather towards the end of the next work week. But that break doesn't look to last very long at all.
Does not. Tawana, thanks. Here's Olivia taking a look at the big stories we're following from around the country and the world today.
A new report says migrant arrests have fallen sharply in the 2 weeks since President Biden announced new rules restricting asylum. Preliminary data from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection shows arrests between ports of entry declined by 25% since June 4th. The agency also reported Border Patrol arrested nearly 118,000 people who entered the country illegally between ports of entry in May. That's a 9% drop from April. Activists in South Korea have sent 20,000 balloons with anti-North Korean propaganda leaflets across the border. The 300,000 leaflets the FFNK sent across the border had the words, quote, "Republic of Korea loves North Korean people," printed on them. The balloons also have 5,000 USB sticks with South Korean TV drama and music. The last time the group sent balloons, 2 weeks ago, North Korea responded by sending 1,000 balloons full of trash into South Korea. And cue the duck boats. The Boston Celtics are getting ready for the big championship parade to celebrate the franchise's 18th championship. That parade will start today at 11 o'clock. City officials say they're expecting well over 1 million people to attend, and they've hosted quite a few of these parades in the past, so they kind of know the drill by now. Stick with us. Shannon will have more local news coming up in your Wake Up Watch List.
Taking a look at the top stories we're following in your Wake Up Watch List. Breaking from overnight, Metro Police have charged a man already in police custody with murder. James Reese is charged in connection to the shooting death of Jason Manukian at the Greenwood boat ramp early Tuesday morning. Reese was arrested later that afternoon after police say he led them on a high-speed chase through 2 divisions. For the second time in less than a week, a lawsuit's been filed against LMPD, claiming sexual harassment within the department. The lawsuit alleges Shannon Lauder and her husband, Jeff Lauder, also employed with LMPD, made sexually explicit comments to Sergeant Lauren Carby and others while they were under Shannon Lauder's command. Shannon Lauder is the same officer who then alleged sexual harassment against one of her fellow majors during a meeting with LMPD Chief Jacqueline Gwynn Villarreal and her command staff, and that led to her being suspended. Here is Tawana right now. So today is going to be the hottest day yet.
Yeah, we're talking about highs jumping into the upper 90s for later on today for a lot of us. We have that air quality alert in place for most of our regions, southern Indiana counties and the Louisville metro area. So make sure if you're going to be out and about, you're keeping that in mind. This is a view of the beautiful sunrise that we have going on right now. And this kind of shows you how hazy it is already as you are heading out. And that's the tail of today. Temperatures right now, upper 60s, low 70s. Once we get into the afternoon, going to climb into those mid to upper 90s, potentially tying a record for this afternoon, by the way. We're going to keep it hot and humid over the weekend with some rain chances showing up on Sunday.
AC is working hard, but your morning commute not doing too bad this morning. Just one stalled vehicle on the Gene Snyder right by 71. Other than that, no issues, no slowdowns, everything looking fantastic. But Tawana, you keep talking about how hot it is, especially on your dog's paws. I found out today is also National Take Your Dog to Work Day. So there's the solution. The dog doesn't get to go on the long walk, but it gets to go to work with you.
That's awesome. And I'm sure every boss out there is on board with that.
I hope so. When is Bring Your Cat to Work Day?
I don't know if there is
that should be.
one.
There should be.
All right.
Okay with that.
Hope you have an awesome weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more. All for free with Wave Now.